Danny Parkerson.
Present.
Mrs. Megan Moore.
Present.
Mr. Eric Irvin. Mr. Alan Hayes.
Present.
Chairman Sean Tubbs.
Present. Before we get started, has anyone signed up to speak from the public on any agenda item? No? The first order of business is to consider an act on the director's contract. The director's contract has kind of been delayed so that we had the exiting of Ms. Jamie Cripps from the last board and the insertion of Ms. Megan Moore to the current board. I thought it would be best that we waited and had her input as well in the contract decision. Myself, Mr. Parkinson, and Mr. Bashirs we're the longest tenured board members. Mr. Miller, I think he's starting his 5th year. Mr. Hayes, his 6th year. Mr. Irvin isn't here tonight. This will be starting, I think, his 3rd year, and then Ms. Moore. When we first vetted Mr. Cripps 9 years ago, there were several characteristics that the board was looking for in a director. And I think that we were fortunate enough to find local talent here in our own back door. Now, we wanted someone who was vested in the community and someone who had our students and our faculty at heart. And also, throughout his tenure of being our director, we've watched him grow, as well as us as a board grow, all in the same, because we're all connected. Now, I can recall that one of the first meetings that I had whenever Mr. Cripps did take the director's position, I met with him for several hours, kind of to go over again what his vision was for our school system and things that he was looking to implement in our school system. And one thing that I did say to him was that he had currently held the position as the principal at our high school, and I had told him that I'm sure that he knew of waste that was going on at our high school, and that if it was going on at the high school, it's probably going on at our other schools as well, and that I would be one of the biggest advocates for schools that we had, but if we were spending money not so wisely, that I wanted it to stop. I think if you look at the current situation with the school system, I think that it shows that we've been very good stewards of the county's monies. Also, under Mr. Cripps' leadership, we've undergone many large projects. Just to name a few, we replaced the gym floor at the high school. Also, we replaced the backstop at the high school baseball field. We've replaced the lights and the bleachers at the high school football field, as well as the soccer field. Also, we've upgraded the restrooms in all of our schools. One thing that's very noticeable, if any of you have been to any of our gyms, we have air conditioning in them now. And I think that's something we can all be proud of. Another thing that Mr. Cripps has done, he's put a major emphasis on school safety, and especially with all of the school shootings that are happening nationwide. Things that he's done, he's implemented a key fob system at our high school. Also, we've got vegetables at each of our schools for increased safety measures, and he's also hardened each of our schools and for increased security, and we have SROs at each schools and 2 SROs at our high school. Another thing that I want to point out is that TISA, for the director's position, sends $139,000 for that salary. Mr. Cripps is currently being paid with this last increase, and his pay increases are also tied with the rest of the staff's salary increases, and his salary is at $109,000. That means that If the staff gets a pay increase, then he gets one. If the staff doesn't get a pay increase, he doesn't either. His current contract is set to expire June the 30th of 2025. And so all of us are here tonight to decide what we want to do with his contract. We can choose one of 5 options. We can choose one, to do nothing, let his contract expire, or we can choose to extend his contract anywhere from 1 to 5 years. I'm sorry, 1 to 4 years. I will set in motion that we give Mr. Cripps a contract extension of 3 years. That is my motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I have a second by Mr. Parkerson. And I think I'll need a roll call vote, please. Is there any further discussion? If not, could I have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Jason Miller,
No.
Mrs. Megan Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Eric Irvin, Mr. Jim Bashirs,
No.
Mr. Alan Hayes,
Yes.
Mr. Danny Parkerson,
Yes.
Chairman Sean Tubbs.
Yes.
We have
We have 4 yes, 2 no, 1 is absent. Does anyone want to change their vote? Then that carries.
motion passes.
Motion passes. The next item on the agenda are the consent items. Each of you have had ample time to review each of those items. Are there any items that anyone wishes to have pulled or have further discussion? And we will need to admit item I. If not, do I have a motion that we pass on the consent items?
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion by Mr. Hayes. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Parkerson. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? That motion carries. The next item is to consider and act on second reading, Board Policies 4.600 and 4.700.
Y'all passed it on the first reading last meeting. This will just put it in motion to be sent to TSBA for the approval.
Do I have a motion? Do I have a motion for approval?
Make a motion, we approve.
Motion made by Mr. Parkinson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Moore. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That motion carries. Next item is the personnel report from the Director of Schools.
We just have the resignation from Miss Brooke Howard, and that's it.
Does any board member have any other business may properly come before the board?
I do want to recognize our custodians. This is Custodian Week this week, so I just want to say thank you to them for their hard work that they do, and just want to recognize them at this time.
There's no further business. Do I have a motion that we adjourn?
Make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Hayes. Do I have a second? I'll second by Mr. Parkinson. Any further discussion?